Got it.
Good. Questions? Concerns? Reports? Confusions? You're all perfect.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Okay. Well, in that case, we will proceed on. So, last week we talked about twisting. This week we're going to go a little further with it. So twisting in this program does have 3 progressive phases, beginning, intermediate, and advanced. Each earlier phase needs to be done for a while so your body can start to integrate the information before going to the next stage. Remember, when we talk about having your mind command your body, it's not just about what intellectual thoughts you have. It has to translate to the central nervous system, because it's actually not going to be your thinking that's going to tell your body what to do. It's going to be your central nervous system. And somehow you have to make the link between your mind and your central nervous system if you want to make the link between your mind and your body. The middle part is commonly forgotten. So the 3 phases are rotating or turning the arms and legs only. Second, rotating plus twisting your arms and legs, and twisting the legs in the most advanced section. So don't skip ahead. Actually follow the stages of the program as they are presented, even though you know how to skip ahead. And don't do it, because the purpose of what we are doing is to write this together into your system so it becomes smooth, comfortable, and natural. So when we talk about spiraling and twisting in the body, most people usually get hurt because they don't really notice what is going on. And you do some sudden hyper movement that causes injury. For example, you see a basketball player standing still with their feet fixed, and suddenly they rapidly move their waist, and the next thing you see is the person falling on the ground and having to have his knee taken apart and repaired, and he's carried off on a stretcher. One part moved, but the other part didn't. So initially, we'll start with rotating the arms. Just getting the rotating of the arms to become smooth. Making sure that the blood flow that goes into your legs has adapted. However it has to adapt to be able to do it without getting stuck. Because you can also get these problems occurring because you have a part of your body that's suddenly turned excessively, but acutely, and it isn't getting sufficient blood flow to do the movement smoothly. Then something has to give somewhere. Some tissue has to give, or the blood vessels have to get de-traumatized, or you get weird nerve signals happening in your system. None of this is particularly good. So we're going to try to make sure those things don't happen. As the program progresses, rotating and twisting will be introduced in the remaining movements of God's as appropriate. Now, one of the biggest impediments to rotating the body to the degree needed in gods is not primarily muscle tightness. And some of the moves in gods are motions that are beyond what most people normally do. What binds the muscles in your body, what causes a lot of tightness, is the fascia of your body. In the first two sections of this training, we showed things about the fascia, about where it is in your arms. But we're going to take it a little bit further. Fascia wrap and bind almost everything in your body. If the fascia is not stuck, it doesn't bind and stick to something. It allows body parts to freely move. All your body parts, generally speaking, have a range of movement they are supposed to move to remain healthy. On the negative side, if they don't move, that can make you unhealthy. It can prevent what is injured from recovering easily, and it can diminish the full functioning of whatever body parts the fascia is connected to. Therefore, this prevents high performance as well as low performance. Just the ability to reach something off the shelf, or the ability to turn and go into some odd position. How many people, because they just suddenly stuck their arm behind their back, are going to the chiropractor because they threw their back out? If the fascia was moving the way it was supposed to move, that probably would never have happened. However, if the fascia can slide with minimal adhesions, not stuck together, you can improve from virtually any injury you get, or you can improve the general overall functioning of the fascia, so it slides as it should. Otherwise, the functioning can diminish. So learning how to release the fascia in your arms and legs will develop the awareness to be able to eventually do it in your internal organs and glands, which is all part of the more advanced gods. If organs are freely moving, there is no reason to do it. But if they're not freely moving, you need to bring them back to a free moving state. So actually, since we're on Zoom, I don't think I'm even going to try to demonstrate that I'm twisting my fascia, because I don't think you can see it. You can see the twisting. We've all worked with being able to twist, but recognizing that connection to the fascia and being able to actually twist the fascia in your arm doesn't look much different, but the result is very different. So I'm not going to try to do that any more than that, because I don't think you can see it on here. The fact of the matter is that you can do this yourself. And the great value of doing it yourself is you can very easily tell when you've done it and when to back off, and then not to pull on something too hard. Rotating the muscles will barely move a person holding on to you, whereas moving the fascia will rotate the person in the direction of the rotation. If you just engage the muscles, they aren't going to engage the person holding on to you. But if you connect to the fascia and turn the fascia, that makes the person turn. You literally have to get it going on the surface of your body. And this brings us back to a very basic point about Qigong. When we talk about the major ways that qi circulates in the body, it has to circulate through something. And the first way is your blood. The second way is your nerves. These two are kind of even. The third way and the fourth way, which depends upon the person. They are your fascia and your ligaments. And your ligaments and your fascia are actually made of the same stuff, collagen. The only real difference is how thick the collagen is. If we talk about these four ways, each one catalyzes the other ones into action. So if you increase any one of the four to some degree, you will increase the other three. So we need to have fascia doing this. In music, there is a principle called point counterpoint. How do you know anything is going on? Most of the time, because it's contrasted with something else. How do you know something's high? Because you contrast it with what is low. And that's how your mind is doing it. So let's discuss whether it's true or not. And that's a whole other matter. But going forward, once you know what going forward is, then you can get what going backwards is. But when you start talking about contrast in your mind, to be able to distinguish what your nerves, what your ligaments, what your body is doing, you need to go through procedures where you're focusing on each one of them independently until you can get what it is. Because then you can contrast the feeling of what that is to something else that's going on in your body. And when you can get the two, then you can add a third and then the fourth. And your mind, because it could recognize the first, also can recognize the second, and is also capable of recognizing both at the same time, because they're not mutually exclusive. They are all just part of your awareness. Now we come to this question, how in God's name do you start messing around with the fascia when you haven't got something to grab your body and someone to grab your body and feel if you're doing it? One of the things that is really nice in person is I can feel whether you're doing it or not. On Zoom, it's a little difficult. So if you have a friend somewhere, you can get them to help you. And that way you will have a point counterpoint. If you can't feel it, if you're moving your fascia, then the only way is to do something that should lead to it, and eventually you'll get a breakthrough and feel it. So here's the basic principle. You have to get something to stay still, and that's on one end of a piece of fascia. And then from the other end, you have to move it so it starts stretching the fascia between these points. In that, contrast is created. This is no different than the way things are done in video and TV. That's all about light and shadow. It's all about contrast. So this is one of the reasons why one of the translations of Neigong is internal power. It's about what's happening internally inside you. If anything moves your skin, forgetting about what's involved in doing it, you can see it. If I were to move my hand up, I move my hand out. Why? Because my skin is creating a shape you can see. When you're talking about Neigong, you're talking about what's happening below your skin. So unless you know how to recognize very subtle things, like something is moving below your skin, how it's affecting that bag of skin is invisible. And that's what's inside your body, that you want to be moving around, the chi around. Now previously we worked on how to stretch the fascia vertically by getting the elbow to extend out of the spine. And then by holding that steady and folding your arm, you could stretch the fascia into the elbow and out to the fingertips. Now that's vertical, which is always where you start, because it's the easiest. So I want you to start with this. So stand up, and we're going to stretch the fascia so that it wraps inward and outward. But the easiest way to do it is focusing entirely either on your pinky or your thumb. So first, just extend both arms out in front of you and pull the fascia a little bit so it has some tension. And you're starting with the palms up. And now have the sense that you are fixing the fascia. You're fixing it at your elbow. And now turn your arm inward, which means turning towards the center line of your body. So in this case, you'll be turning your thumb towards the center of the body. And stretch the fascia inward. Keep your elbow fixed and then turn outward. And that should stretch your fascia outward. So keep doing that a little bit, really trying to feel the fascia moving, not just the muscles. The first point on this is, if you let the arm go slack, this won't happen. And once you can really do this, you can allow your arm to be as slack as you want. But when you're beginning and learning how to do this, because you have to distinguish between the fascia being engaged and the fascia not being engaged, you have to keep that connection. And understand that there is fascia all along the inside and outside of your forearm. Now you want to have the sense of holding the bone in the center of your forearm steady. Now turning around the bone. So you want the fascia to turn around the bone, twisting inward. And then twisting outward around the bone. You have to make sure your arm is not floppy. In this case, your thumb is your marker for turning in and out. So turn it in and turn it out.
And the forearm bones are not to move?
They will move. There will be a little movement of them, but you want the principal movement to be the fascia turning around the bone. So I want to keep the bone as steady as possible. So now turn your palms down to start. And twist inward, which means now twisting the pinky or little finger inward. And then twisting the pinky outward. As you do this, begin to feel that as you twist inward, that you're feeling it on the inside of your forearm. And as you twist out, you feel it on the outside of your forearm. And as you're doing this, you want to work towards gradually getting it not just to pull to the elbow, but to pull all the way to your spine. And keep that fixed. Keep the elbow tip down and the armpits open. And relax. So what did you feel about that?
I think when I switched from the thumb to the pinky leading, the twisting was definitely a different feeling. No, I'm thinking I'm kind of in touch with it more the second way because of the your point counterpoint kind of thing, because the contrast made it a little clearer that something different was going on.
Did you feel you were connecting to the fascia?
I believe so. I was trying to keep the muscles relaxed so the movement wasn't muscle driven. So,
Yep.
Good.
yeah.
Yeah, me too. I was surprised. And I was paying attention not to be moving the bone in particular, although obviously as your wrist moves, there's more movement, but I was really able to keep my elbow steady. And so I was surprised when you said you should feel it all the way to your backbone, which I was able to do at that point without moving. So that kind of surprised. It was like, oh, aha moment there that I could do that without moving the whole arm.
Oh, good. Good. Bill?
I'm pretty sure that it was the fascia rather than the muscles that I felt going. Obviously, from my question, I was having trouble keeping the radius and ulna quiet. They wanted to turn a bit, not this way, but I could feel it moving with the wrist, as Joanne said.
Yeah. you,
They are connected, you know.
they are
They are connected, right?
Yeah,
Disconnected.
and that was, so I was working on that. I don't know to what effect, actually.
You know, if you're feeling that you want to really try to get that connection to the fascia, that you're not sure about it, one of the things to do is to hold, literally hold that forearm bones, both of them, so they don't move,
Okay.
and then get the fascia to rotate. And yeah, your wrist is going to turn it, those bones and hand, but you can stabilize the forearm and get the fascia to simply rotate around those bones. And that's a way to begin to feel if you're actually connecting to the fascia.
Yep.
But when you're doing the whole movement, those bones are going to turn a little. It's all connected, as Bill said.
Yep.
Good. Any other question at the moment? Okay. So now we want to look at movement 2. And we want to actually, for the moment, I want to just focus on the twisting. And I'm going to demonstrate the movement and take away the quafold so that what's happening with my arms is clear. I think you're clear about it anyway, but I'm going to do it just to make sure. So if we take away that the sinking and rising, when when we have gone from this position, the arms are bending and twisting in until you get into the lower dantian. And then they are twisting out as you raise the energy and move it out to the extent of your etheric body. So they're twisting and bending in to here and twisting out to here. And obviously with the whole movement, we have the movement of all the other parts of the body ideally coordinated with that. Just to make sure we're clear about that. So I'm going to actually talk you through a practice focusing on movement 2 and trying to think about that twisting, particularly the arms. Don't worry a whole lot about the legs at the moment. do the whole movement. I'm not suggesting you shouldn't do the whole movement. Do the whole movement, but really focus on trying to feel twisting the fascia as you do that movement. Okay? So stand up. And bring your arms to where you would be at the end of movement 1. Actually, I'm, I forgot. I'm going to have you do a little more of the twisting practice with the arms out in front of the body first. So we did that basic level. Lower your arms down so that the hands are at about the level of your lower dantian. And twist your arms inward and feel that twist along the inside of the arms. And as you twist outward, feel it on the outside of your arms. And you want to try to only twist on the side you're focusing on. So you're trying to begin to get clear the yin-yang separations of the body. But because it's moving through your fascia, you're getting real qi movement. You might have general real qi movement just with your intent. But when your body is actually doing a movement where the qi is supposed to go and have an effect, then you know you're doing it. And it is usually stronger. So now lower your arms down to the level of your hands at the level of your kwa, with palms down, and twist in and out. Twist along the inside of your arms. And then twist out on the outside of your arms. So now bring your arms to your side where movement 1 would have ended. And begin movement 2, twisting in. So when you're twisting in, you're getting the fascia to come towards the inside of your lower dantian. And as you begin to twist outward, you're bringing the qi up and out to the sides. Twisting into your lower dantian and twisting out as you go up and out to the extent of your etheric body. Twisting in as you go down. You're twisting out, you're lifting your chi up the center and splitting your chi out to the sides. And then it goes down the left and right sides of your body and into the lower dantian. As you bend, pull the chi up your legs to the center of your body. And then push it up the center of your body until it naturally starts to split out to the sides. As you start to bend from your quad, your arms start twisting inward and start pulling the chi up the inside of your legs until it arrives at your perineum. As you're twisting outward, pushing the chi up your body until it reaches the Baihui point at the crown of your head, or as high as you're able to go. And when you reach that point, then your arms begin to separate as you're dropping your chi down your face. And down the sides of your body. Now what you want to get coordinated is that by the time your hands reach wherever it is that's as far as they can go upward, your chi has reached the crown of your head. So you have to play around with that, adjusting your hands, moving faster, or moving your chi up your back faster until they are in sync. And then when you reach the crown of your head, you separate out to the left and right channels. remember that every single time your hands turn out or turn in, you're moving the fascia from the outside of your arms to the inside, from the inside to the outside. And next time you come to the bottom, pause and relax. You can sit down. So what were you feeling as you did that?
You know that old Smokey Robinson song, "The Tracks of My Tears"? I feel that when the energy comes back and down on both sides, that it's kind of creating these interesting tracks almost, right? Like I feel the energy going down
Wow,
in the
cool.
middle. Yeah, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I have a much more distinct impression of the energy moving and the twisting going on, even in the legs going down, um, as opposed to going up, up and out. Yeah. So that needs work, obviously.
Yeah, I think that inside and out was really, really good thing about the inside going down and the outside going out with the fascia. And similar to Bill, I could feel it really strongly on the inside. And on the yang side, it was sort of like it was on the outside of the top, but not all over so much.
Yeah. So
But it was palpable in both
yeah,
parts.
with some practice.
But it wasn't Smokey Robinson for me, though.
No, no tracks of your tears.
No.
So yeah, this can be quite powerful because it begins to move the chi much more strongly.
Yeah.
And so it's an important step to work on.
The other thing it did was it really helped with not just twisting too fast. It helped the timing to get things together at the transition points without having been there before you got there, kind of thing.
So one of the things, just a reminder that as the arms are coming up, you don't want to separate them until the energy has raised to its highest point, as high as you can go, wherever that may be. Ideally, we're heading for the crown of the head, but maybe you're only getting to the chest or the throat level, wherever it may be. But don't separate the arms as soon as you leave the dantian in sort of a diagonal to the sides. So it helps in raising the energy up the back to maintain that connection and then to separate it. Yeah. So
I think that for me, It is a matter of realizing it's going up the back. If I think about my upper chest or my throat, then those are cutoff points. If I think of my spine, then it goes to the top of my head.
Uh-huh.
It's just kind of anatomically like, yep, that's the image, that, like, don't think about all of, because really it's the front of our body where we think of the different parts and pieces. But the back, I don't think of my spine in parts and pieces so much until it just hurts, but you know what I mean? Yeah, so I find that, especially when you kind of reminded us of that during this last practice, I was like, oh yeah, yeah. That's when I trip myself up, when I'm not thinking about it, where it really is going, or coming. Yeah.
That's a good point, because I think that thinking about it in terms of the front locations can tend to create a block before.
That's right. It does for me. Yeah, definitely.
And actually, those are only levels in the body, not actual locations.
Right. Exactly. Yes.
Because I don't think I was clear. I don't think I had stated that clearly. So
Good.
So good.
Yeah.
Well, I think that'll keep you busy for a week.
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to have goals.
Indeed. Any last minute thoughts or questions this morning? Okay. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you,
Thank you.
David.
Thank you.
Have a good week, everyone.
Yeah, you too, Bill and
You
Bill.
all had a nice 4th.
Yeah.
Quiet.
Indeed.
Quiet. Yeah, well, kind of, but not really, but that was good.
Not when you've got kids.
No, not when you got kids, and then you go to another family party that has a lot of other people, 3 or 4 generations of people. It's great though. That was fun.
Well, it could be fun.
Yes.
Good. Take care,
All right,
guys.
I'll stay on for a
Bye-bye.
minute.
Take care. Yep.
So I did not do, I had no space, literally had no space to practice the first week I was gone. I was in a very tiny hotel room with my friend Ellen, and we barely had room to kind of put our suitcases down, in the space we could afford. And there really wasn't any time otherwise to hit the park or whatever. As I said, I did do some practice once we spent a couple of days in Athens. I wasn't able to there. I tried, but yeah, no, too much with the kids in the place. I really just, I do find a satisfaction in practicing gods that, then just kind of takes my time and energy, right? And while I did really want to do the form there, I was about to do it when Patrick came back and said, oh, we're going to have lunch at the cantina. Come join us, yada, yada, yada. So that, and then, like I said, I don't know something. I hope there's no systemic problem here, but I just started getting exhausted before I left, which you can't blame on jet lag. So I do find, getting into practice kind of helps, raise that energy, right? So I'm trying to figure out all the things. I do have a doctor's appointment next week, but a little minor tweaking in the lymph glands, but no real pain, no swelling. Just
Well,
more tired than I should be. Let's just put it that way. So
I find that I'm tired more easily than I used to.
Well, and some of it might be that my daughter gave me her old Fitbit, and so it hit 10,000 steps easily every day,
Wow.
Both walking around in London to and from the tube, and from one meeting place to the other, and then in Athens. So it could be that I just pushed myself, that was 10 days of a lot of walking.
Yeah.
Either a lot of walking and then a lot of sitting. You were kind of in between, right? You walk, and then you're at a meeting for too many hours. So that's a bad combination.
Yeah.
But it could be that, it could be just that was such a kind of different, yeah. Experience for my body. I'm not sure. I'll, yeah.
I think you need to be easy on yourself for a few days.
Yeah, well, and that's hard with the kids here, because they need to stay active. I mean, it's great. No, family convinced me. It was Rosina's step family that we went to see. It's this lovely big Portuguese family in Rhode Island. And they welcome us. Rick and I have kind of been adopted by the family as well. So yeah, and Karina and Ricardo were like, no, come. There'll be other people to watch the kids, the pool when there's sun. We hit the rain badly, but we did get a few hours of sun. So that was good. Yeah, Rick's got them at the library now. But yeah, it's that combination of not wanting them to just loll around for 5 days while their parents are walking the Highlands, but yeah, no, you're right. I need to. Our daughter did take them last weekend, so that helped. Just for us. But then I caught up on work. It wasn't like, oh, I just sat outside and read a book. It's like
that's too bad.
on the computer. I know. Now I have to do a grant report today because the executive director didn't get it done, and now she's on vacation. So anyway, but yeah, we'll try to find balance. By next week, it will be returning more because their parents are coming home Sunday night. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Oh, good. We all say that. No, they're fun. I mean, they're great. That's the thing. It's that being torn between.
Yeah.
Wanting to have that space for Tai Chi, wanting to do things with them while they're here, needing to get a little work done yourself because you've been gone for 2 weeks, give the reports of your meeting, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, never enough time.
Well, I'm presuming you don't particularly have any questions about the form at the moment.
So I don't really, no, I wish I could, but I mean, I do, we have talked, I think, after some of the other classes on twisting of twisting in the form. So, I will try that. Like I said, they're gone by Monday morning. So by Monday and Tuesday, at least I'll have more time to practice, but I will make sure I have time every day this week. So.
Yeah.
Now that we're getting back into a little bit of a routine.
Sure.
I'll teach them Tai Chi. No, I'll get them out in the backyard while I'm trying to. Or I'll go out in the backyard while they're in the house.
That would be interesting.
One of the other. Yeah, really teaching them. Yeah. Because they're more like, they're more into Karate Kid stuff than any, they kind of understand a little bit. But from the, hello.
This is Tashi.
Tashi. Tashi's like, David, it's time to pay attention to me.
I guess so. He just suddenly appeared. Usually he's taking a nap at this hour.
Isn't that funny? No, he's like, no, I want to be here. That's cute.
Yep.
Anyway, all right. Well, I should have more next week too.
Okay.
We'll report. I put a check in the mail. I put it literally in the post office. So if there's a delay, we know whose fault it is. I know yesterday was a holiday, so you should get it by tomorrow, I would think.
Yeah. Well,
but I did put a stamp on it and I drove it to the mail. I drove it to the post office. Madeline and I did. So
the way our post office runs these days,
maybe not. Yeah, no, the prices are going up, and I put a forever stamp on, so it should get there. So,
okay.
Yeah. Okay, David.
Take care, Joanne. It's nice
See you next week. Hi to Jane for me.
Okay, will do. Bye-bye.